The automotive industry is set for a revolution that will disrupt and reshape global business, threatening the survival of every organization. To make sure you survive and win in the new automotive game, automotive growth expert Roberto Dal Corso has interviewed global experts from the automotive industry to identify the changes and the impacts that are coming to keep you ahead of the curve.
Hi everybody, my name is Roberto Dal Corso. Welcome to the leading disruptive automotive trend summit. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Turkey. We have Enis CONKU from Dinex, who is the sales manager for the OE and aftermarket. Enis, welcome.
Hi everybody, I'm very happy to be here and thank you very much for inviting to submit for myself.
Thank you for taking time out. I know you're extremely busy. I know you've got Automechanica coming up, so I will try not to take up too much of your time, but really thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Enis, I mean, we've known each other now for at least 10 plus years. I mean, you have a very distinguished career in the automotive industry. Can you give us a little bit of background as to what you've done within the automotive industry, and more importantly, how did you get into the industry? It's not something you just dream of going into.
Yeah, the automotive business started from updating the military service. As you know, this is a must for the men if you're living in a country like Turkey after your age of 21st. So after finishing the university, as the ordinary Turkish people, I mean the men population, I had already finished my military service, then started to look for something for professional business life, because previously I already worked for some little organizations for marketing, I already worked in a radio, which is advertisement department, and some part for organizing a program, and made some leave programs also, which was already enjoyable in those ages. But after that, I started to look for something professional, and we already matched the ways together with the group, which is named as Tiryakiler from Turkey. And that company's main profession was the driveline units, as propeller shafts, the gearbox parts, and also some parts from the transmission. That was the first step of mine, which in the automotive industry, automotive professional life, which was around 2003. So I may say that this is the 15th year of me in the industry. Following the Tiryakiler Group, I already worked with a German organization which is called the Welte Group. It is also professional driveline units also.
Yeah.
I had the chance to manage the Turkish branch office together with the workshop, which helped me to be in technical wise of the business also in the workshop together with my employees. Followingly, I started in Dinex as a sales manager from 2014. First of all, as soon as I met with Dinex, I was responsible for the aftermarket sales management. But after the years passing, for the last 1.5 years, I started to take over also additional to my role as the OEM, as an additional role. So I became the sales manager for both. It gave me the chance of feeling the difference between exactly what aftermarket is, how it runs, and what are the dynamics of OEM business also. In nature, it is real, which is affecting face-to-face relations and the way of doing business, and also the dynamics of the business, OEM, but both automotive. But there is really a serious, huge difference between aftermarket and OEM side of our business. I'm happy to be in, because automotive business is very dynamic, and it makes you updated for the daily life of the business. So it is very enjoyable. You're able to meet with different people from different nations. From the starting of my professional life, I was already responsible for the European market, African market, some markets from Australia. I can say that I already had the chance to work worldwide of this organization, which had given me the chance of to meet by different people from different nations and culture. It was the good side of this business, because aftermarket is something you have to be face to face and direct relation with the people. This is the important side, because business can be done in every step, every time, if it means only to buy for something and to sell for something, and the difference is your profit. But I look to business a bit different than this. This is the part of your life, this is the relation, this is the human relation.
Yeah.
So, what's the feeling about?
Yeah. No, that is very, very interesting. I mean, I've always known you as an absolute professional and very much one of the go-to men in Turkey for the automotive aftermarket. What are some of the major differences, and what do you prefer, the OE or the aftermarket?
I prefer aftermarket more than OE, because OE is more politics by the relations. Aftermarket is more how can I say, trustful and more close relation between the people, and you don't need to play with the people.
Okay.
Whatever you are, whatever yourself is, this is the reality for the other people also, because there is only one target, to be able to make trade, and the first priority is the win-win policy between the businesses. So it is making you to take care of each other, and while you're running in the same road together. But in OE, it is a bit different. You have to, first of all, take care of your advantages and take care of your earnings of your company.
Yeah.
So OE is more, how can I say, the political relations between the people, which is, okay, this is the must of the industry, but if you ask me which one I prefer aftermarket business. It is more honest, I guess.
Nice answer. And I mean, what has made you successful all these years in the aftermarket?
First of all, I had the mentality of business can be done anytime. The main important thing for me is the relations between the people, the face-to-face relations. The first meeting mustn't mean it must create a value or a business. You can leave the business for the second step, for the third meeting. First of all, to be able to build a strong relation between the customer and yourself is more important than, if you ask me. But if you go to a customer a bit business-oriented, which customer is able to feel it very easily, and you are able to give the signs of that from your behavings and from your approaching style to the relation. So this is kind of a thing which is creating some negative effect in the beginning.
Yeah.
So to my idea, first of all, two-way relation, face-to-face relation, friendship, and the common earnings are more important than the business itself, because if you build the building on this manner, business will be done in a very near future with more valuable.
Yeah.
This is the first priority of myself, and this is why we are still have a relationship with you also, and having this discussion today, because you were the member of the group of Arvin Meritor, which our ways first of all matched, because while I was working in Teriyakkiler, we were planning to do business together for some of the parts, which was not continued in a long period, only limited for some years, but it created a good relation between. So I'm happy to be able to meet with my ex-colleagues from your group, from your ex-group. So it made me to earn the people by, first of all, building up the relations before the business. Yeah. So this is the result of this meeting, for example, very daily sample between.
No, you're absolutely right. So building trust, building relationships is the foundation of building business in the future. And over the years, I mean, you must have seen the automotive industry change so much. Where do you see the aftermarket going today, if you look down the road 3, 5, 10 years?
For the aftermarket roadmap, I can say that in the past years, the supplying of our aftermarket can be done by any of the companies, because the quality of the products, the needs of the market were not qualified as much as today we see. So as soon as the vehicle park renewed itself, as soon as the ages of the trucks decreased in the population of the vehicle park, so as soon as it started to renew, it reflected the aftermarket also. For the suppliers, if you are able to follow the changes, if you are able to develop yourself, if you are able to invest on your technology and production skills by the quality of the product also, and if you are able to put your company for the products which are the availability is in a high ratio, so you became the one of the preferable companies. So this made the difference. As soon as the companies who are not able to orient themselves to these changes had been eliminated from the market, had created a good competitive atmosphere in aftermarket. So today, it started to be more qualified, it started to be held in good motion by the reasons of these. In only last 2 weeks before, I was in Emirates area, United Arab Emirates area, and I had the chance to visit Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and the other Emirates, which are connected to them. And it was a good chance to feel how the market is going. The good thing that I heard during my visits was this, there had been a law started to be used by the 31st of March, which is it will be forbidden to register any of the vehicle which is lower than Euro 4 standard. So it is a good sign for the market like the Emirates, because you know nearly the 65-70% of the land is covered by desert. And if you think from the emission rate, it was not that much important for the vehicles who are running in the market. So if they today came to a level that there is a regulation, then standard will be minimum Euro 4, means that those markets started to invest on themselves also. So this will create some positive figures in very upcoming years, very near future, which is a good feeling, good sense. For the Turkish local market, day by day, the competition becomes very hard. We are in the effect of some political things. We are in the effect of currency. We are in the effect of the suppliers from Europe, local and Far East also. So these all mixture is creating a very tough market to fight in. Today, the euro came to a level of nearly 5 Turkish lira. US dollar came to a level of 4 Turkish lira, which had increased the import prices by itself nearly more than 10%.
Okay.
Without making any your internal increasing due to your costs. Maybe you are not planning to make any increase on your own prices, but because of the currency differences, it had been affected in the minimum of 10% level. So it also gave a chance for the local manufacturers and created some problems for the importers or sub-suppliers who are using some imported parts for their local production also. So it started an increase in the level of the market, which affected also the payment terms. It became a bit prolonged because of the money circulation in the market, because of the things that I already told about. So this is like a domino effect. This is like a chain effect. If you start to play with some of the dynamics in the economy, it's starting its positive or negative effects for every part of the business, which automotive industry in Turkey is one of the locomotive business. And because, however, if the automotive is good, the economy shows positive effect. If the automotive business goes in a different way, you are able to feel the effect of it also in every industry. We can say that automotive industry is one of the most important industry for the local market for Turkey.
Wow, I didn't realize that, it was such a driver in the industry. And I guess, outside of all of the, the pricing, the currency exchanges that are going on, and you mentioned some of the politicals, and I guess also a little bit of this focus that we see from, at least from Switzerland, the tension between Turkey and Germany, is that impacting at all?
In daily period, you are not able to feel in the market that much. The problem is always between the politics. The people between, there is no problem. I don't have any problem, any of my German colleagues.
No.
I don't have any problem with my German customers or the Dinex German customers. This is the problem between the politicians for the top management of the governments and the country in financial ways, in economy, in some trade. But we are not able to feel the exact effect by a daily period. It is a long-term effect.
Yeah.
Rather than that, we are able to feel the effect of the problems in Middle East more than the problems in Europe. You see that we have problems with everyone. It is a reason of the management style, maybe, but if you go only some tens of years before, we already had a very good and acceptable relations with the neighborhood countries, but today it became in a very different style, in a very different way. So we have been more affected by the issues which are running in the Middle East. There is a war in our borderline, so it directly affected the trade between, because the trucks stopped.
Yeah.
The many of the trucks who are running in the local market, in a serious amount of them were running through the Middle East, especially over Syria. They were able to run the Lebanon area, the Iran area or Iraq area, but now because of the problem in the border, most of this traffic had been stopped.
Yeah.
So it showed a more serious effect than we are living the similar things with Europe. I mean, the Europe side is only some political decisions and some maybe economical things.
Yeah.
But in the eastern side, it is more tough, and it is able to be seen as an effect in a more serious level.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, from a political standpoint, it's all very high level. Europe, yes, mainly high level, but when you come towards Middle East, your neighboring countries, then you can feel that politics, because of, the war situations going on more on a day-to-day basis, if I understood. And, when you look at some of your distributors or the distributors in general, I mean, in Europe, one of the big themes at the moment is customer consolidation, where you've got Wessels, Müller and Trost getting together, Peters becoming stronger and starting to have partnerships or positions with most of the major distributors. Do you see a similar trend in Turkey?
Yes, as a new effect as a new step of Dinex, we already became a member of Tatcom and Temot Group as a supplier in the middle of last year, and also at the end of last year, nearly it was end of November, we became the supplier of Nexus organization. So as most of the series, the big companies who are working like the big dealers in Turkey are the members of these two big organizations, even from Tatcom or from Nexus. So it started to show its effect in our trade life also. In the beginning of the investment of Dinex in the first years, which was in 2008, Dinex was had a sales policy of to be able to sell to as much people as they could, because Dinex brand was very new for the market, and it was needed to be announced in the field. So one of the ways is to be able to sell as much company as you do, to be able to make your products and brand run in the market.
Yeah.
But after years passing, we a bit changed our sales strategy, and after coming over some of the steps, we prefer to work with the big dealers.
Okay.
As Nexus members, as the Tatcom members, Temot members in Turkey. So currently today we are running through around 80 accounts rather than 400, which used to be. So we decreased our customer number, but we directed our little customers or the ones who are working like workshops to big dealers.
Yeah.
So we are preferring to work with the big dealers. Also, we are making a similar sales organization for the local market, also for the Middle East market, which I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
How prepared are you to navigate the disruptive trends that are set to hit your business? Will you survive and win in the coming years? To understand your level of risk exposure and to help you avoid becoming a statistic of failure, take the free risk assessment here, www.dalcorsogroup.com, which will identify the gaps and how to navigate the risks. By taking the risk assessment, you get a chance to win a free 30-minute strategy session with automotive growth expert Roberto Dal Corso. Roberto can help you identify an amount equivalent to 7% of your total annual sales that you are leaving on the table each year. To survive and win, take action now and visit www.dalcorsogroup.com.
Okay, so again, customer consolidation is becoming more and more, and because of that, you're having to go through some of the big buying groups, Tmart and Nexus.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And which has both its good and bad, because they give you the reach to more customers, but at the same time, it can potentially lead to shrinking your profit margins.
Yes, but as they are creating some continuous business, which is important in aftermarket for your forecast, for your production, for the sales plan of your sales strategy of your company, you are able to make this kind of plans and strategic actions if you work with this kind of customers.
Yeah.
But if you directly work with the workshops or the little customers who are running in the industrial areas, it will not help you to create your future figures or plans as you're able to do today. So this is the disadvantage of that. Also, the market condition, because of the payment terms, the price levels, and those kind of things, it is creating some conflict for yourself to run after, because you are paying too much effort to collect your money or to follow up the business, which is getting from your energy, but you must use it in a different path, because at the end of the day, you are a producer, you are not a dealer company. Dinex as a manufacturer in Turkey. Let me tell about a bit for the Dinex organization, as we are a universal organization, worldwide organization. We have production facilities all over Europe, including Turkey, United States, and China. So every part of the production plant has the responsibility of its own country and nearby countries as a market. So that's why I'm working in the Dinex Turkey organization, responsible for the Dinex, the Turkey local market, and also the Middle East as the aftermarket, including Libya and Egypt from the North Africa. But my colleagues who are working in Germany, France, Italy, Poland, Latvia, Russia, they're all responsible for their own lands and neighborhood countries.
Yes.
So, I'm not able to make comment for the daily situation of the Europe market that much, but I'm more concentrated on the Turkey local and Middle East market, which I can help on this.
And with all the changes going on, and I know Nexus, I think last week or the week before, announced that they plan on being the automotive leader in the aftermarket for digitalization. Is digitalization in your region becoming an important factor?
Yeah, every company who are working as dealers started to be the part of B2B business. And they started to become the part of this electronic trade, as they are able to do even from their mobile phone or from their computer in electronic way. The last style of business, which was fax or emailing or phone calling, started to be more unpopular. People likes to make these kind of things only pressing on some buttons without talking. But today it might create some value on business. But in the beginning of the conversation, which I told, I like the part of the aftermarket, which is the face-to-face relation, the human relation between. This relation is badly affecting on this style of business, because you are becoming in a situation of less talking, less seeing, and in less discussion. So it is also creating some negative effect on your relation with the people. So digitalization is a good or bad, can be discussed from business manner and from relation manner. It must be discussed in two different ways. So if there will be any way to make this both together without breaking the relations between and without putting distance between the people, I think it will be better than today. But we are also started to be very much in technology. We are also in your daily life, you started to make your shopping only from your mobile phone with some little applications. Even it can be a lunch, even it can be shopping for your home or some, accessory maybe for your car or for something for your garden.
Yeah.
Most of the people is preferring to make these kind of things from only sitting in front of any laptop, iPad or mobile phone. But it is creating some negative effect on the human relation. This is my mentality. Maybe we are a bit more than X generation, I can say. Maybe this is the effect of our generation. But I already have a daughter who, in the age of 13, who are in the end of Y and Z generation, we can say. It's really a different thing in their world. The all daily relations, the all daily things are nearly concentrated only on electronic devices.
Yeah.
Which we can discuss till morning if it is good or bad.
No, those are very good points, and you're right. I mean, digitalization, as you say, has the balance, could be good or bad, but I mean, the important part is to try and remain connected or as close as possible to the customer. And digitalization, you know, along with, you know, the generation Y, as you mentioned, coming in and it all changing, is also the digitalization and the mobile apps and people wanting to do online purchasing and ordering very much accepted at the end user and fleet level, or is that more a really B2B at a higher level with, you know, the bigger distributors only?
Currently, in the bigger distributors they have, but the big distributors who are working with us are using this, but they are able to use their own system with their customers. Only the sales guy is entering to the store with an iPad in hand, only clicking some things on the screen and able to take the order or able to check the availability of the product, if it is in stock or not, or what will be the supplying date for a schedule. So it is helping in that kind of instruments, but mainly from the manufacturer and the big dealers, it is used in a more high level currently in Turkey, but it became more and more popular, and it became more and more a part of the day. So the quantity of the customers who are asking if we have the B2B system in our sales is increasing day by day.
Okay.
You are able to face with that kind of people who are asking all this, but one day everything will be converted on that. No way out for that. This is the reality of the life and the future step of the business.
Yeah. No, it's very true. And I mean, you look at it and you mentioned your daughter, and I've got kids of similar ages. Yeah, they've all grown up on electronic equipment, and that's the way it's for them, and it's never been any different. And to me, I feel that sometimes in the automotive industry, it's almost the internal organization or management that maybe is not changing fast enough to engage with these people, which by the year 2020, statistically, nearly half of our people working for us are going to be within that generation, which is very different to what motivates them and what makes them feel engaged. Do you see issues with that, or is that sort of okay still in Turkey?
Instead of issue, this is become like a science, like psychology. You have to know from which way you need to approach them, or what might be the instruments of awarding them. Because, you know, to the age of us, I am 43, if someone gives us a new mobile phone or give the new keys of a new better model vehicle, it makes you maybe feel comfortable or concentrated on your business. But for this generation, you know, meeting with the technology in ages and in quantity base, it became faster and faster. So it cannot be an awarding instrument of any iPad or any phone for this generation, because meeting with this kind of instruments in the ages of maybe 4, 5, 6. So if he comes to an age of 20 or 25 while working with you, if he already made something good, and if you are giving something like an award to him or her as an iPad or a tablet PC, he or she won't be able to see it as an award, because it is an extraordinary thing as a part of daily life.
Yeah.
So what is the missing point is the human relation. So they might be awarded in maybe something from this way, because they're not able to hear the well done word as much as we already heard in the past. they're mainly awarded or said good words in electronical way.
Yes.
So something more face-to-face, something more touchable will be more valuable for them, might be more valuable for them. Because, you know, there was a summit in the TV, I think I already watched some videos in the internet, in YouTube somewhere. It was telling about the instruments which are able to reach to the millions of people in which period. For example, in 1980s, the colored television had been reached the millions of people. It was around 250 or 300 days it took.
Yes.
Or it's coming to daily period, a mobile phone for the first giving to market, it took to reach to 1 million people in some months because it was an expensive instrument and it was not reachable. But today, a program like Instagram or a program like YouTube, it takes only some minutes or seconds to reach the millions of people. Today we are living in this kind of reality. So the rules of the game must change due to this reality, because this is the truth.
No, it's true. And I mean, you know, as you mentioned, the rules of the game are changing. I mean, are tier one suppliers like yourself doing more or being more active in those digitalization channels, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, I'm not even going to say LinkedIn, but you know, the ones where the Generation Y are using more?
I mean, we prefer to be in because it is in reachable point, it is easier, faster, and it can be reached by more people. I mean, many of the people can only reach to your company or your products or in presentation video in YouTube in only some seconds. Any signature, a part of LinkedIn address in your signature makes the people to believe that, oh, this is a serious company, well organized, this is a big organization, and able to have an idea about in only some few seconds. So because of these reasons, we as the next company trying to be more active in this social atmosphere. We already hired some of the employees which started to be the part of the team very new, who are all responsible of this kind of facilities, like CEO, Chief of Technology Officer, or the marketing side. From instead of advertisement or sales, marketing become more important in the social media. But it is very important to be able to manage in a good way, in a true way, and in a safe way. By being the part of this every day, the risk is also increasing to be part of some hackings or something's different in the market. If it is only a black and white, a piece of paper, if someone gives to another one and tries to but any effort on in affecting or media is able to affect the people more in a negative way, and it can be a disadvantage for you. So while you are trying to be more active in this media, as much as you do it in a good way to be active, you have to be careful also. To be very careful, because today we are able to see the bad samples or unexpected samples on that. For example, in very near days, Zuckerberg is living the problem of giving the people's identifications or the details to some part of industry. If it is done by knowing or not, I mean, it's an open point of the subject, but it is very clear that there is a risk of this. Now, many of the millions of people are known by the home address, mobile phone numbers, or family names, the relations, which is really creating a risk for the daily life.
So as digitalization grows, the opportunities exist, but also there's bigger and bigger risks going forward.
Sure. The risks at the same time increasing also.
And you know, when you look at from a distributor's position or from their daily business, what are a distributor's biggest problems or issues today that they face on a day-to-day business?
For day-to-day business, as the availability started to become one of the major problems, because as soon as the digitalization increases, you're able to be managed by electronically.
Mm-hmm.
And it is only giving you the chance of some numbers that you had downloaded on your system with this critical stock level or something which the system creating its own purchase orders. But
Yes.
if any sudden changes had been done in the market, any sudden increase had been started to have with some of the special materials, now availability is becoming a big question. By managing it personal-wise, by having some feedbacks from the market, you are able to decide by yourself what to buy, in which quantity to buy.
Yeah.
But after digitalization and after some feeling the benefits of this automatic system, you are living it as day by day to the system in more.
Yeah.
But some sudden changes have been made in the market, which the digital brain cannot guess for that or cannot have a feedback about that. So it might create some conflict, some maybe problems for yourself for the availability side of the product. So for the big dealers, because of the economical changes and because of these electronic advantages, they trying in the maximum availability with minimum stock.
Yeah.
Not to create this additional cost for their organization, but to try to run with the minimum stock create some problems on availability, and it is creating chance for your competitors, which in that time that have that product. So this becomes create some disadvantages for you. You have to plan in a very good way while you are making this automatization.
Yes.
And it must be planned and scheduled in a very professional and good manner.
Yeah.
If you are living in a country like Turkey, which the balances are changing in daily wise, so it is not so easy to catch the daily changes only with electronical mindset.
Sure. And I guess some of the disadvantages not only of trying to manage stock, and if you don't have the stock on that day, but also because of digitalization and the internet and pretty much everyone has access, suddenly pricing becomes a lot more transparent.
Yes, you have to. I mean, everybody knows what you earn, everybody knows against what you purchase. Only if you write some of the OE references on Google, you will be able to have many of the data in your hand, even in country market wise, in manufacturing wise. So it is not so easy, it is not so hard to guess what might be the price of manufacturing or what might be the cost of a dealer is.
Yes.
So the profit levels have decreased in a very serious level. Today, if you are making a deal of, it became a luxury to be able to talk about 20% or 25%, which many of the companies are accepting only with 10s or 15s to run with.
Yeah.
But in the past, if you check the years of 2003, 2005, so in only 1 year, you were able to announce the second or the third price list of the same year.
Yeah.
If someone buys a product in the beginning of the year, it was able to earn the money while it is waiting on the shelf till the end of the year, because the price were changing 2 or 3 times a year.
True.
But after passing the 2010s, we started to announce the price list in every 2 or 3 years, instead of 3 times a year. So it created the profit of the product decrease day by day. So it took from your pocket the market. And also in the previous years, while you were manufacturing, you were able to sell to the dealer. Dealer was selling to its dealers, and that dealer was selling to its services. So the product was able to make 2, 3, or 4 tours between the dealers.
Yes.
But today, manufacturer and the dealer. Now the other steps had started to be eliminated. As soon as this digitalization become in a very wide range and the product started to be reachable, I mean, if you are a very little store or a workshop, in only with some seconds you are able to take your request from Alibaba also, from some worldwide organizations instead of local dealers. So
true.
Import in the past years was known as a very professional thing. a very hard thing to make or very paperwork thing. But today it is understood that it is very simple, only pressing some buttons and making the payment in a credit card, a personal credit card, and it can be in front of your door in the following days. So it became very easy for the product to be reachable. Okay, it might be an advantage for the manufacturers, but it created some disadvantages for the dealers. So you must be fast, you must be near the customer, you must have close relations between, not to make him to press that buttons, and the availability is very important, because if you don't have the product, he will find from somewhere else. And for the second time he required, maybe you won't be the first address to come for.
True.
So this will be the disadvantage of your electronic life.
Yeah, no, life is changing. And I mean, from your side, what are your biggest daily frustrations then when you work day to day?
It depends on the business that you're asking for. If it is OEM, it is also checking the portals of the customers, which each customer prefers to work on their own system.
Okay.
Even ordering, even the payment, even the deliveries, everything. But if you check from aftermarket, it is not that much. The main thing which is taking your daily time is the discussion between the people. I mean, I would prefer, to email between the people, but while sending the email, I prefer to call also. Look, you asked me this, and I sent you the email 3 minutes ago. It is because of this. The main idea for that is not to make any confirmation for the email that had been received or not. It is more to keep the conversation more in a warm way. Face to face.
Yeah. Well, which goes back to your foundation of building trust through customer relationship, customer intimacy.
Sorry?
It's more in your line to build trust, customer intimacy, customer relations.
In an industry like automotive business is very sensitive, very tough. And the relation between the people is very important, because many of the people who are your customers mustn't be well graduated or over graduated. This is aftermarket. So many of the people are sometimes taking over the family business after their graduation. So they are not too much MBA level or well graduated level people. So for this kind of people, the face-to-face relation is more important to my idea. Because in OEM business, it is different. It is more university business.
Yes.
But aftermarket, the name is aftermarket. This is market business. So you have to graduate it from the business. You have to graduate it from workshop. You have to touch the product. You have to make your hands a bit oily and dirty, which teaches you what the product is and how to deal with the product. It must cut your fingers. It is a bit, maybe sometimes it must be a bloody business, but this is the nature of the business. So for this level people, digitalization, again, it is important, but face-to-face relation is more important to my idea.
Sure. And I mean, any advice for someone wanting to enter into, I'm not going to say the Turkish market, but maybe into Middle East and North Africa? What advice would you have to give to these people?
You must be strong, and you must trust your product first of all. Every day, day by day, the conditions of the market is becoming harder and harder, because in the past you were giving the sample of China. It is not only not saying the country name, but you were giving the samples of lower qualified products that to make your advertisement or to make your presentation of products. But believe that day by day, the quality of the products in the market have came at acceptable level. Today, many of the products are very similar quality, have the similar quality to each other. So, important thing is service, availability, and acceptable price level, and also two-way relation, the human relation. If you are able to build all these in one, no question, you will have the success in a very near future, because it will be one of the best advantage to your competitors. Because the quality is similar, price is similar, Availability, everybody can do, but the marketing relation and the relation of the owner of the businesses, the human relation, cannot be copied, cannot be done in the same level by everyone. It depends on your personality.
Yeah.
If you're a guy like doesn't like to be too much discussion or too much conversation with the people, however you can force yourself, it will end one time.
Yeah.
It is something which must come from the in. So it is very important for the people to be in this market. Turkey and Middle East, one of the hardest markets in pricing strategy, in money collection strategy, because the banking system between is not that much matching as we are doing in Europe. So there are some disadvantages in economical way.
Yeah.
But these are enjoyable markets. These are good markets, and these people and culture are enjoyable to spend time with. So I recommend everyone, first of all, to visit the land, to see how the rules are in the land and how the game is played in this geography.
Yes.
Because it is not something like only sitting from your desk and only replying for some emails or having the phone call. You must you must smell the air in.
Yeah.
So first of all, go, visit, discover, and then the business will come by itself.
No, very, very true. And Enis, just changing gears a little bit, outside of automotive industry, what are you passionate about?
If you are living in a country like Turkey, you are not forcing yourself too much to find some reasons for that, because in daily life there are too many samples. In every morning we are waking up in a different manner with a different problem coming from the government. So every day there are some samples. But instead of automotive business, maybe from the first day of my business life, I am in automotive sector. I haven't tried any business different than this. I'm feeling myself very close for my lifestyle. I'm feeling very close to this. From the little ages of, as maybe the most of the boy gender, I was also like to spend time with the magazines of cars, vehicles, some spare parts, that kind of thing. So because of that, I'm happy to be in this business, and I am able to make the part of the daily life some little pieces from my business life also. If you become able to match all these together, you are becoming enjoying on that, because in that time it is not disturbing you if you have to solve something on the weekend or in a day off. If you really like this business, and if it be able to come a little part of your daily life, you are able to work on Sundays, or if you go to a Middle East country which the weekends are their weekdays, you are not feeling yourself disturbed to work on that conditions. I mean, this is not a tower business.
No.
This is not a tower office. This is not a plaza, not kind of thing. So also the daily life is under effect of my business in a high level, I can say.
Okay, so you are passionate about automotive 7 days a week, which is fantastic, because I think a lot of people, when you grow up, you think of cars, and it's something very fascinating and passionate to get into the automotive industry. No, Enis, I know that you are pushed on time, and I don't want to steal more of your time. I can only say thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I wish you good luck for Automechanica coming up later this week.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I hope that you have enjoyed and found value in watching this interview. If you want to learn more about the leading disruptive automotive trends impacting the industry, check out www.dalcorsogroup.com. I encourage you to share it with colleagues that will appreciate great industry insights. Join us tomorrow for more experts from around the world.